Hi guys, I hope everyone is having a really great day today. I want to take a few minutes today to talk about what I think is one of the most magical parts of Photoshop, layers. Layers help us do non-destructive image editing, and what I mean by that is that if we want to, and I do suggest that you want to, we can edit an image without ever really altering the original image. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in and try to demonstrate this in a way that hopefully makes sense to you guys. As you can see, Photoshop is already open with the image we will be using today, and I'm running CC 2017 along with all the latest updates. So the Layers panel is found right over here. Now, if you're not happy with the location of this, you can most certainly move it by just clicking and dragging. You have a couple of options for location, and it's really entirely up to you where you want it, whatever works best for you. I'm okay with mine right down here, so that's where I'm going to move it back to for right now. So this is a picture I took recently for an engagement session, and I did a little bit of work in Lightroom first and have now brought it into Photoshop, and I have already made it a Photoshop file. To help get my point across, I'm going to demonstrate this first part without using layers at all. So let's assume for a minute that I don't know a thing about layers, but I really want to do some minor skin blemish removal on this image. I'm going to go ahead and use my spot healing brush tool to do that, which I can find right over here, or I can get to it also by hitting the keyboard shortcut J. Now I do want to point out real quick that some of these tools have some other tools stacked beneath them, and we can see those either by clicking and holding down so they come out like that, or we can also hit Shift on our keyboard along with the corresponding tool keyboard shortcut. So right now you're seeing Shift and J. Alright, so we've landed back on our spot healing brush and now we can go ahead and get started. So remember, we're pretending that we just don't know anything about layers right now. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And I do want to let you guys know that I am going to go ahead and exaggerate here to really get my point across. So let's say we're going to clean up a little bit of blemish right here, over here, a little bit of hair. Now let's say that while we're doing this, we accidentally make a big mistake, but we just don't notice it right away and we just keep going. Get rid of a little bit more hair. A little bit over here, a little bit right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out, take a look at my image and see what we've got. And we notice it, you guys. We've made a huge mistake right here, and mistakes happen. Now your first instinct is probably to try to erase this mistake. So why don't we go ahead and try and do that? And our eraser tool is right over here, or we can also get to it by hitting keyboard shortcut E. All right. Well, that's obviously not working, you guys. In fact, that may have even made it worse. If we had chosen to do everything we just did on a separate layer, this would have been a mistake that we could have fixed really easily. All right, so we're gonna do this again, but this time I'm gonna show you how to do it using layers. So I've got this image open again right up here. Here it is. And the first thing I do when I go into Photoshop is I create a new layer. I can come down here and click this little icon in order to do that, or I can just hit Command-Shift-N, which brings up this new layer dialog box. There are a couple of options in here, but for right now we're just going to hit OK or Enter on our keyboard. Now what that did is over here in the Layers panel, it created a whole new layer for us. You can see that you have this layer selected because the color changes slightly for whatever layer we have selected. All right, so let's try this again. Let's come over here, select our spot healing tool brush again. For this, make sure that sample all layers up at the top is checked. So here we go with our skin blemish removal again. Do this right here and here. Here we go. Skip this nose spot, the hair in the face. Now, the magical part about this is that this is all happening on the layer we just created. And I'm going to show you guys that. We can really see that if we come over here into our layers panel and click on this little eyeball for our background image. Check that out, you guys. All of that is happening on this layer that we have just created over here. So let's do a little bit more work on this. There's some more here and here. Some back in. Now let's say we've made another mistake here. And we're going to keep going. All right, we're going to zoom out now. And oh my gosh, you guys, we made another mistake. But guess what? This is really easy to fix because everything we just did, we did on a separate layer. So let's come back over here, go ahead and make our background layer invisible, and our mistake is right there. So let's take that eraser tool and just erase that mistake. Check that out, guys. No mistake. So layers are really quite magical and they can really help us out with our editing. Especially edits like this, I like to come over here and just zoom in a little on my image and just hit this button back and forth because I can really see the difference, and it's really cool to be able to see the before and after in such a way. So the layers panel itself does have a couple of options. We have opacity, we have blending modes, we can change the order of our layers, but that's a whole nother tutorial. So this has been a short intro into what I'm going to call the magic of layers in Photoshop. Like I said, layers are powerful and they're pretty magical in my opinion. I hope this helped you guys out some and it gave you a better understanding of layers and why you should be using them. I do want to encourage you to keep practicing your skills. Photoshop may be a little intimidating for first-time users. I remember when I started to use it, I was definitely a little intimidated. I'll also add that I've been using Photoshop for about 2 years now, and I still learn new things in Photoshop all the time, so just keep practicing. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching.